All right, so let's jump into some music. Shout out to North Memphis, South Memphis. You know, Beale Street. What am I missing, J. Boy?
Let's see. County seat.
Okay.
All incorporated areas of the county.
Yeah. Shout out to
We
Philly.
see y'all.
Shout out to Philly as well.
Broad Street.
Yeah.
Meek Mill. Patti LaBelle.
Yeah. We see y'all.
Philly International.
Yeah. Philly's Most Wanted. Freeway. You know what I'm talking about?
You know what? If you haven't done so already, check out the Teddy Pendergrass documentary.
Yeah, I need
on,
to peep that
on Showtime. So
Teddy had heat.
Yeah, man.
No doubt about it.
There's a lot behind that story. You need to check it out. So legendary music by him.
Teddy definitely had that heat. So I definitely want to check that out. Check that out when I can. Apple made some news. iTunes is going to be disappearing from what I hear. Now, this doesn't apply to me because I'm PC'd out, so I don't have iTunes. I don't have any Apple products. I'm asleep. I'm old. Y'all call me what you want. I don't have any of that. But they say there's still going to be an Apple Music app, and I guess there'll be like a tab for all the music that people have already downloaded. The first thing I thought about was all my homies that are DJs that have tons of music that they use, or just, you know what I'm saying, everything is synced in through all the Apple products. Like, that's what I thought about. And I know, Spoolz, you apply, you're one of those people, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't DJ really at all anymore, but it is like my music repository.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really that I mean, like, the percentage of music I've downloaded versus not that's in my I probably have 300 gigs of music at home, something like that. So, like, hopefully I don't just lose all that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I still need some way to play that music. I also play music through iTunes. You know what I mean? Just at home sometimes. So,
well, the article said anything that's been, from what I read, that's been, that you've downloaded, that you have through that product won't be lost. I guess it's just a different way for you to get to it. That's the way I understand it when I read. So
it probably won't be anything adding to it, I guess, is the main thing. Apple Music's like Spotify, kind of.
Right.
So it's just
forcing people into the streaming.
Pretty much. Unless you don't use the, I mean, there aren't too many sites where you can go and grab music anymore. Tidal would be one.
Yeah.
That's left.
Mm-hmm.
Bandcamp, of course, but I guess it would be Tidal, of course, and Bandcamp. But
yeah.
So
I see people, tons of people reacting to it because, like Spoolz said, like huge libraries, but. Didn't work for me.
You probably just leave it.
Well,
you on iTunes as well?
I've used iTunes because, when I had to rip a lot of CDs, especially when I was doing the digital part of the record pool.
Yep.
It would bring up the CD, and then like it would be funny how like if you put in a CD single, but it wouldn't bring up what's actually on that, and you'd have to go in and do it manually.
Right.
It would bring up some crazy song from Japan or whatever. It wasn't always accurate, but most of the time it was. So I always thought that was helpful. But honestly, what I hated about iTunes, it was just so resource heavy. It seemed like it slowed down everything else on my computer. Now, mind you, I was using iTunes through a PC, so that probably was an issue. But I know that there are people who said that even if you have a Mac, they would have sort of the same issue. I just think this is about an evolution in technology where, okay, the brand now that they want to push is Apple Music.
Right.
So I think that most of the things that you have in iTunes are just going to be categorized under Apple Music now.
Yeah.
So I think there's it's just a change in technology, just like anything else. Like it's like we've held on to a certain platform for a long time. If iTunes is the PlayStation 3, it's about we've held on to the PlayStation 3 way too long, and it's time for us to move to the PlayStation 4, which is probably Apple Music.
I can dig it.
Yeah, I'm interested in a handful of things. One, obviously, from a DJ aspect, when it comes to syncing libraries and all that stuff, where a DJ is going to get their music from now. That's an interesting thing.
That's gonna be
DJ
big.
City.
Yeah, I mean,
that's gonna be big.
But also, even from if I speak from a blog standpoint, it's not really relevant anymore because things have changed. But when I think back of over the 12,000 plus posts we have, how many of those are iTunes embeds? Are those going to go away?
Right.
I'm not going through those posts and updating them. So
I feel you.
you know,
That's a lot of posts.
Somebody will write a program to do it for you.
well, I don't know if I'm going to pay
Hopefully.
for it. But
Hopefully it's shareware.
You know,
Wow.
I'm not paying for it.
Last
Yeah.
thing I want to say real quick on this was that there's an interview with David Bowie from some
Mhm.
time ago where he kind of in a way foresaw that this was the way music was going to go. This is an
word.
interview from like the 80s or 90s.
Wow.
But I don't know if I find it, I'll try to pull it up and or put it in the comments section of this episode. But just kind of interesting.
No, I mean, every once in a while you'll go back and
You're renting the music at this.
Oh,
point.
yeah.
You're not buying it anymore. I don't own
anything that you
Deeply
stream.
Rooted by Scarface any longer, like a copy of it. You're just kind of renting it for the time being when you want. It's a totally different
this is why.
way to consume.
Mhm.
But this is why platforms like Bandcamp and such won't go away.
Right.
Somebody was talking. I was talking with some people about favorite music platforms and SoundCloud and all this other stuff, and I was like, well, SoundCloud's cool, but Bandcamp to me is the most premier of all of them for the simple fact that, sure, artists don't get streaming money off of it,
Right.
but if I sell one record, full album, or one song off of that, and you get to download it, it's gonna cover the streaming costs anyways.
It is. Yep.
So, you know, Bandcamp just opened up a store in, I believe, San Francisco, an actual physical record store. I prefer that model. I understand that the streaming's not going away, but
They've added I remember getting an email probably, maybe 2 months ago about them adding a wax component to
Yeah.
Bandcamp where you can go through and actually, you know what I'm saying, purchase wax and then sell it like you would any other project through there instead
it's
of
kind of like crowdfunding in a way, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like you put a pre-order out. If you meet your pre-order, then they process the order type thing.
Nice.
So I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
That's
But-
dope if they add wax, like that's to me that's dope because as you know, you'd have to go outside and get it, you know, pressed up and then, you know, take care of the mailing or whatever. So if they add that component themselves, I think that's a game changer. If they do wax. So
It's one of those things too that's you know, it's a cool technological thing, but at
Yeah.
the same time it makes it easier for people. And so once everything, it's like the way technology goes.
Yeah.
Once it becomes easier for everybody to do, technology innovates and something new comes along. So I'd be curious, you know, who knows what vinyl sales are going to do at that point.
That's a good
Because
point.
if everybody's selling vinyl at that point, it's going to lose its
won't stand out as much, won't be
what's
as
the word
special.
the word I'm looking for? Not
It won't be special.
pastiche or
Yeah.
whatever. You know?
Prestige.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Nope.
No, I mean, I just think this is just the next evolution in the game. You know, when you talk about there was a time when physical media dominated.
Yep.
You know, we're all old enough to remember going to a record store at midnight to get a release that we were excited about.
Yes.
And then, you know, when iTunes came out, because there was that kind of Wild West moment with it was Napster and LimeWire, where it was like, okay, well, we'll just get what we want whenever we want it.
I definitely was on LimeWire.
But, you know, there were risks to that, basically giving your computer the AIDS virus. You know, you
Facts.
just never knew. And
that's a fact.
I'll just be honest, once iTunes
There's a
and-
cure for it.
once iTunes and like you were able to get things from Amazon, like if you make it easier to buy something for 99 cents than to steal it,
Yeah.
then I'll just go ahead and buy it. You know,
Right.
I do, because, you know, I do appreciate the art. You know, I'll go ahead and buy the record. But now it's to a point where people, they're like, you know what? I don't want all these MP3s taking up room on my phone. I need room for cat pictures and you know, whatever. So I'm just gonna stream it.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing
Can't
is,
stress the importance of cat pictures.
you
enough.
cannot.
As Spoolz said, rent it.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly.
But-
I have those albums in my library through Tidal, where okay, I just have to keep up my $9.99 subscription,
Yeah, and I'm good.
But the thing is, this is all media now.
Yeah.
Just think about, you know, there's no more Blockbusters.
Yeah.
In 5 years, there won't be anything. There won't be GameStops.
Let me ask you this question
Same
just real
thing.
quick. Do you think that this is becoming, so I think about when Wu-Tang put out that album that they just made like the one copy of, but they also toured it. Like they took it to a few different places and let people come in and like with headphones, and it was kind of heavily guarded, and like listen to the album or whatever. And RZA's idea behind doing that was treating music like art.
Right.
Does streaming fall in line with that concept of treating music more like art, where you don't own it?
It's the opposite.
You think so?
I think it makes, because
do artists get paid? Let me ask this last question. Do artists get paid? I don't know how that works. It's easier to understand that, like, I sell this for $1 and you get 25 cents of it because you did this, and I get 45 cents of it. But how does that work with streaming?
It works the same way. It's just at smaller amounts.
Gotcha.
So it
By
takes
significantly smaller amounts.
So like the difference is, if I sell a single to say I have a song online for 99 cents, let's just call it $1. So whoever my distributor is going to take whatever percentage off top of that.
Gotcha.
So if I have an 80-20 deal with my distributor, I'm going to get 80% of that. Cool, I have 80 cents. If I'm on a label, whatever my label deal is, the label's going to take whatever percentage of that is, and then I'm going to get extended to that. So let's say it's, I don't know, maybe I get 40 cents of that. So that's 40 cents, right? It works the same way with streaming, except it takes an awful lot of streams to get to 40 cents. It's going to take, maybe 100, 200 streams to get there?
Okay.
Right.
Somewhere around that.
Interesting. I wasn't familiar with
Maybe not that many. I guess it depends on the platform.
It depends.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Tidal's the best platform for that, isn't it?
It is, but still, overall, it takes something like 1 billion streams for your album to go gold.
The amount of money that Pharrell made off Happy was laughable. And I know how big that record was. Like, the amount that he made from streaming for that was laughable. I can't even remember the number. I laughed so hard I couldn't even remember the number.
I don't think Tidal is actually the best one. I think Tidal is second best in the list
Is it
I
second?
saw. But the top one is one that most people don't use.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have to look that up, actually. I'm curious.
But, nah, man, when I saw what Pharrell, you know how big that record was, man. And it was just unfortunate to, Spoolz talking about how it's chopped up and everything. It's just crazy. A joint that was in a movie, and Pharrell is a huge superstar. So for that to just cut him a check for, I don't want to say the wrong amount. I'd have to look it up, but
It was an amount lesser than you feel he should have.
way lesser.
This kind of goes back to what you said about, does this make music art? I think it takes away from the artist, because at midnight, someone can just say, "Oh, there's a new album out."
Yeah.
Everybody gets to stream it once, and if it doesn't stick with them, we're done with it. And we're going to get into that a little bit later with another, probably our last topic here. But
Yeah.
it really, I feel like now, since you have access, if you have Tidal or Spotify Premium or whatever, you have access to every single album basically that's ever been released.
So not
Close
only
to
that, so
it.
I was just thinking about this too. Now people have, it's 100%. Well, not 100%, but it's far more consumer based now. So I could actually,
There's no barriers.
because I pay $10 a month or whatever for this service, and one of my favorite artists puts a new album out.
Right.
I can now, instead of having to buy the album, I can listen to the first like 3 or 4 songs and be like, nah, I don't like this anymore, and never listen to it again. Whereas before I had to go out and, you had to either physically have a like you were all in on the album.
Yeah.
You don't have to be all in anymore on the album. You can literally listen to the first few songs and be like, nah, I don't want to.
Look, imagine if
And it's
The Art of War
You pay the same
by
amount.
Bone Thugs-N-Harmony came out in the streaming area.
Yeah.
Lone
Been a
loves that
bit-
album.
Would have been
I
a
don't know.
completely different thing. I dropped $17-$18 on that double album,
I probably
getting
heard a
it on
couple
sale.
albums, a couple songs, and got rid of it.
and I had to commit to listening to that album
But you
because I
still
was
had
like,
to pay $20.
I probably ripped it from Napster.
Oh,
this is before Napster.
That's
You
probably,
wait, yeah.
I probably waited and got it on Napster when it came out.
You see,
I
I
did
waited.
not spend $20.
I
on
said
that
I
album,
waited
sir.
3 years.
Hey, yo. Hey, he's petty.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yo, he's petty. Let's pay these bills real quick. Shout out to the sponsors. BringingDownTheBand.com, as always, is a hub. No Bad Ideas as well. They keep lacing us with this product out here with the hats, so we appreciate them. Any CD and vinyl, they take care of us as a partner for our raffles. They always provide us with great records for that. Printfinity, support your local businesses there with the T-shirt printing and, artwork, things of that nature. And did I miss anybody else? Red August, shout out to Red August as well. Another one of our sponsors, and also Dr. Coleman for Coleman Dental as well, right next to the Academics building in Broad Ripple. I feel so bad. I should have this number memorized, but I don't.
255-8546.
There it is. Shout out to Dr. Coleman, who I haven't met yet. I still got to meet him.
Area code 317.
So I'm at Orange, but I didn't get a chance to meet him. So shout out to him. All right. So anything else on the streaming or whatever before we get into this last topic?
I think we can
from
pick
Lone's
it up.
favorite artist.
Anything else do I want to add? We're in an era now where artists have the flexibility and the potential to really take ownership of their own art.
Yes.
And so with that comes the power of choosing how you want people to have your content. So even though there are we have the streaming options, right?
Right.
You can choose how you want to release your music and how you want and how people want to, get that.
That's true.
It's
know where that
crazy.
sound's coming from,
Like
but-
literally, Garth Brooks, he said, "You can't. If you want my music, you got to buy it. You got to go to the store. You got to order it online."
Wow.
I'm not. He has 0% of his music on streaming services.
Oh, word.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I read that in an article probably this past week. I was like, wow,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Well, he's
But he sold a gang of records.
he's a big enough artist to
Yeah.
do that. So
He
yeah.
sells a lot of albums.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use the streaming platform to your advantage, right? I mean, the membership thing is going to be the thing of the future, I believe, because it's going to allow ownership. I just watched a video on 𝐀𝐁�H𝐿, who's a producer. I think there's actually a sticker on that keyboard over there of 𝐀𝐁�H𝐿, which is funny. But he's been a producer for a long time. He had 𝐀𝐁𝐿 Beats, 𝐀𝐁𝐿 TV right now, but he's shutting his beat store down and he's going to a membership site where he's building a community online with people and interacting directly with them, and it's like $20 a month to sign up for it. It's just people are trying these things and they work, because in the long run you get 4 or 5 people to subscribe for that. That's a lot more people. That's a lot of streamed music.
Facts.
You know what I mean? $100 a month. You have to stream a lot of music to make that, or you have to have a pretty decent fan base to make that streaming.
That's true.
So, anyways, that's on my close.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point. I actually saw that video too. Watched a good portion of it. I need to get to the last part, but he was making some good points.
Here, let me ask one more question. So knowing that, well, no, I won't get into that. I was going to talk
Sure.
about. So do you think it's good to, knowing that an artist has the ability to put their music out, however, like in so many different ways now, and I understand that you kind of just explained a way that you can use streaming to your benefit, but does it really benefit most artists to sign up to do like a title or an exclusive thing with title? Or to me, I would say no.
Not exclusive. What
No,
I'm saying,
not to one platform.
and what I'm speaking on is not an exclusive deal on title or anything like that. I'm talking about 𝐀𝐁𝐿 created his own platform on his own website using his own everything.
Right. I kind of wasn't. This was just more of like an aside. Like I was just thinking about like, why? I don't know. I probably just need to research it more, to be honest with you. But like, why would somebody? I mean, can you so you can do that in addition to?
So you can set up, when I'm talking about membership stuff, I'm talking about kind of left field a little bit.
Does the person you just mentioned, does he also put things out on streaming services like Apple Music?
I'm sure that he probably does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So it's all.
So
it's
you
not
can-
just an exclusive.
You can do that, but for the people that are your
so.
real fans,
Yep.
you're going to target. We have people that we can get a little bit of streaming money from different like YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But we're going to get a direct more money or whatever that's going to support the show via Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
so people that really want to support us will go to Patreon, the link that pops up on the screen at the end of every episode, and click that and subscribe for $1 a month or something,
Right.
or $2 or whatever. And that's realistically kind of the way of the future, in the way it's like a cross mix of both of those, in my opinion.
Interesting.
And
Word.
actually real engaging, it's not, you can't get away with like fake engagement anymore.
True.
So people want to know who the people are and all that stuff.
Yeah.